Hey everybody, it's Jill for today. Did you get an Instapot for Christmas? Do you have one in your closet that's been sitting there in the box, but you're kind of afraid to use it? Well, I'll tell you a little story. When I was a kid, my mother had a stovetop pressure cooker. And this was a big thing that you put on the stove, and there was this thing, and you were kind of terrified at the moment you had to release all that steam, because you didn't know whether the kitchen was going to blow up or not. Well, it didn't blow up. And today with the electric pressure cookers, oh my gosh, it is a game changer. So I'm going to show you what the new Instapots look like, what you cook in them, and we're going to do our first recipe. So we'll be back. Here is the pot. I've got it plugged in and turned on, so there's no heat generating in here. But I wanted to explain the buttons to you a little bit. The manual is great about explaining the buttons and how they work. But I think what I'd like to do is just tell you a little bit of things that you may not be aware of. When they have all these buttons here for multigrains, porridge, soup, meat, chili, those sorts of things. These are pre-programmed at the factory. Now I'm just going to turn the soup one on here so you see. It's pre-programmed for 30 minutes, but it's the high pressure, just like if you turned on the manual button, it's high pressure. And this is what all of these buttons are really. They're all pre-programmed at the factory. They consider how long beans need to be cooked. They think their recommendation is 30 minutes on high pressure for beans. But there is a learning curve to Instant Pot. And most of us who have had pots for a while, and I've had mine for almost 4 years, is that we tend to always rely on the manual button because it's so easily to, you can manipulate your time, you can manipulate the heating of it. See here, you can go from time, you can go all the way down to zip time or all the way up to 90 minutes, an hour, whatever. You can adjust the pressure from low pressure back to high pressure. And it's just a much more user-friendly button. These you can use, but you're going to find that some of those settings just don't work, or they're not correct as far as what your cooking experience will tell you. The slow cooker is a wonderful function. I use it all the time. And again, you can say, I want a really high slow cooker, or I want a really low slow cooker temperature. But the normal tends to be, most pressure cookers have high temperature and low temperature. The normal is generally what you would consider low temperature on a slow cooker. So I just wanted to tell you that yes, these buttons are here, but most of us tend to gravitate towards that manual button when we are going to cook. So I want to also show you quickly about the lid, and then we'll do a little cooking. This is your sealing and your venting knob, and whenever you're doing any kind of pressure cooking, your knob is always going to be here where it says sealing. The venting is generally used when you're going to blow off that steam and release the pressure in the pot. Occasionally you will use that, like if you're doing more liquid types of pressure release. You can do quick release is what they're calling it, and you'll see that in the book. And it's when you have something that's very liquid, you can use the quick vent and the steam will come out quite quickly. But if you're doing something like rice or beans, that sort of thing that's got a lot more thickness to it and a potential for foam, you're never going to want to go to quick vent. I learned that like the first time I used my Instant Pot. It was a disaster. Bean juice was just pouring out of here. It was a nightmare. Anyway, I wanted to show you that. And then this is the pressure valve. And when you have the lid on and you've got it sealed and the pressure is building up in the pot, eventually there will be enough pressure where this little silver button is going to pop up and it will be flush here. And that means you've got pressure in your pot. And the lid will lock so you can't open the lid, which is a wonderful safety function. So those are just a couple of things I wanted to tell you about the pot, about the programming of the, on the face of the Instant Pot. And the book is very good about explaining a lot of how the timer works, how the keep warm function works, and I don't think I need to go through all of that with you right now. So anyway, let's get to cooking. I'm going to show you a real quick recipe you're going to love, and it's super easy on your first experiment with your Instant Pot. Okay, so I've given you a brief explanation about the Instant Pot, and I do recommend you get out their manual and look through it. And if you're a book person and you want to follow the book by the letter, there is a sample introduction to your Instant Pot as far as something to cook in it the first time, and it's a hot water test. And it's a good one. It takes 3 liters of water, and it's pretty time consuming. If you're a book person, that's a great one to start with. That's what I started with. But I think that this quick little recipe I'm going to show you, it's very user friendly and you get some reward at the end. So we're going to make some basmati rice, and it's super easy. And we want to come on down to the pot here and I'll show you what we're going to do. And with rice, you can cook brown rice, white rice, every kind of rice in the world in your Instant Pot, and you'll never cook rice on the stove again. In fact, I have a couple of recipes in my collection on rice. I will put a link up above and you can check it out. So I'm putting in here 2 cups of basmati rice that I have rinsed, and I'm putting in 2 cups of just plain water. I'm just going to kind of mix that up in there, get it all even out, make sure there's no rice clinging to the sides. And then I'm going to put my lid on. Hear that sound? That means you're seating it on there correctly. I'm going to turn the lid. I'm going to make sure that my black knob back here is on sealing, like we talked about earlier. I'm going to hit the manual button, and I'm going to bring my time down to 4 minutes. So this gives you an introduction on how to use a couple of the buttons. Okay, now it's going to take a bit to heat up, build the pressure up, and then once that happens and the little silver button back here pops up, it'll take, see, that's telling you now that the cooking process or the heating process has begun. I will let it go for that 4 minutes, and I will let you come back and see what's going to happen next. The thing I'm not going to do is I'm not going to hit this quick release button up here, this venting button. I'm not going to hit it open so all the steam comes out once this cooking process is done, because as I said, I used I did it with beans once, and it was a mess. So you want to make sure that on rice, beans, that sort of thing, that you let it naturally release, which means it's going to take its time, and that release of the pressure is going to go down slow. And once this little silver button drops down like it is right now, that indicates that the pressure has left the pot and you can open the pot safely. So we'll be back when this all starts to take place. All right, we are done here. Now, if you'll notice, it says here that it's been on hold. The L indicates that it's in the warming mode. I don't know why the number is L, but it is. And I actually just walked away and kind of got busy doing other things. And that's what's such a great thing about the Instant Pot, is that you can do that. But my little silver button went down. My lid is now unlocked. I'm going to open it up very carefully so I don't get steam. And I'm going to bring this in so you can see. There's my rice. Look at this. Ouch, it's hot. And this is beautifully cooked basmati rice. Look at this. And I have actually, just to talk about rice in the Instant Pot, I've put rice on and left it, gone off and kind of did my own thing. And 2 hours later, opened up the pot and the rice looks this beautiful. So it's, as I said, it's pretty awesome when it comes to rice. So I have a couple of parting words regarding the Instant Pot and what its ability to do. I love my Instant Pot. I absolutely do. But there's things that you can do really beautifully in it, and some things you are going to say, not so much. And it's really a learning curve, as I said before. You're just going to have to experiment with different foods, different timings, and you'll get your rhythm, because once you do, you're going to love this pot. I will say that I have yet, myself personally, found a cookbook that is like right on. Timing's right on for different vegetables or beans or meats or whatever. And I have found so much comfort in YouTube, believe it or not, finding recipes. These people have cooked them, they're experimented with the recipes, and they've gotten them right. And that's what my videos are as well, my cooking videos. I've experimented, found out what the right times are, and then finalized recipes. Check out my playlist of Instant Pot recipes. Check out other people on YouTube, because you'll find a lot of really great experienced recipes. Well, I think that's it. I hope any of this has been helpful to you. If you have questions, please let me know and I'll be happy to answer it. I'm going to grab my book. Go to your book, read it. Read it, read it, read it. This is a great source of information if you'd rather do their beginners experiment with the hot water in the pot instead of like a small recipe of rice. I encourage you to do that. But I think once you get the hang of it, you are going to love this pot. Get out there and cook something in your Instapot. I'll see you guys later. Bye-bye.